This live martial arts class, we're talking about how to defend yourself with a stick. We're going to talk about short sticks, long sticks, sticks with a hook, expandable sticks, sticks that swivel and swing and snap through. And then eventually this week, we're going to have a whole video on improvised sticks. This is about how to defend yourself in the street fight, violent attack, how to defend yourself with a stick. We're going to start with the collie stick or escrima Arnis stick. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to show you just a little bit on each one, how you might use it. This video, by the way, is for Arnis. Arnis over on Patreon said to me, these are the kind of videos he likes to see, all the videos with the sticks. And the idea came to me that there are so many sticks around us everywhere that when you need self-defense, practical self-defense, they've got a knife, they have a stick, they have a weapon, or there are multiple attackers and you need to multiply what you normally have, right? Either extend your reach, and think of this as medium reach, extend your power, the force you can generate. These are all force multipliers. So the first set of sticks is, think of medium range. We're talking about the collie stick or the escrima stick. And these sticks are designed to create a maximum force, maximum power, speed, and flow, smoothness, flexibility. They can do a whole bunch of things that you can't just do with skin and bone alone. Now, the first part of self-defense is always situational awareness, paying attention what's happening around you as it's happening, and then you get into a better position. If you have nothing in your hands, this is a better position. We call this the flinch block, the hands between me and the threat, right? I'd rather them hit my hands, my bony surface, than hit me here in the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the throat. So this is better than nothing. This is even better than that though. Putting the sticks between me and the threat now extends my reach. I can hit them here, especially if they've got a knife. They want to get close, they have to get close. You're gonna maintain your distance with that medium length stick, your Arnis, collie, or escrima stick. And I put a link below if you wanted to look at what they cost. Tons of selections of this kind of stick in that link below. Oh, thank you so much, Bob. Much appreciated. Now, the way you hold the escrima or collie stick, if you pick up and it doesn't have to be the martial arts stick, that's the whole point of this video. If you need to defend yourself, and there are sticks lying around, and like I said, later this week, we're gonna talk about improvised self-defense tools that are all based on the stick. How you can defend yourself with things that are in your environment, no matter what your environment is. Today, we're talking first about this medium range collie stick. This is a great place to start this conversation, and this is a conversation, which means I want to hear what you think about what I'm saying, what you know, what you've experienced, what you've heard other people say, or you've seen other people do, all based on how to defend yourself with a stick. So in this case, you have this distance, you have slashing strikes with full speed, full power, right? You have that with two sticks. You can move very quickly, very fast. You can move in and out, moving to the side. You can go to the head, to the body, strike that knee. That pit bull I was out this morning. I saw the pit bull in the neighborhood. Nobody around. This thing was just trotting along, right? Now he might just be somebody's loving, sweet little pet, but he might be one of these ones I keep seeing in the news lately, that mall people who are out and about and they have these vicious animals that have been abused and horribly treated, and then they're out there hitting people. That's you. You're out for a walk. You have a stick, or you can pick up a stick. It's that simple, right? You're keeping back, striking with these first slicing type strikes. The second kind of strike is using that other end, and that's more of a jab. And that's extremely effective. That's extremely powerful. You've got a nice tight grip. They're too close. This is good distance. They close that gap. All of a sudden, they're on top of you. You can't strike. You have this ability very quickly. You can also bring it in as a punch. Imagine punching to their face, but then you overshoot just for self-defense. Overshoot a little bit, and then this comes flying through their eye, their nose, their mouth, their throat for self-defense. That's very effective. You bring it back in, 1, 2, you create that distance again, and then you go in. You can also use the other end to jab from that longer distance. Both ends work. And then think of blocking, right? They go to hit you on top of the head. They've got a tire iron, change the tire. They've got one of these expandable batons. We're gonna talk about that today too. They've got an expandable baton. They're coming down. You block up. It's as simple as that. Block and strike, block and strike. Maybe it's coming in here, pushing just to the side. Push, strike, push, strike. It's as simple as just pushing your whole body behind this stick, getting their weapon that's coming at you. Maybe it's straight in. They're coming in with a punch. You hit them there and then back for self-defense. So here and straight in. So it's a very effective weapon to defend yourself while blocking, pushing through, pushing up, pushing down. They're coming in through the middle. It's that simple, right? And then immediately counterattack for self-defense. So you've got slicing, you've got jabbing, either longer distance or close in. You've got striking through, almost like this punch, right? Through this way, you've got striking through. Then you have your blocks. And there are a few more things that you can do with this for fun. There's the twirling, that increases the speed. You can do your figure eight. You can learn the sinawali. Sinawali means weaving pattern. All those things are ways to disguise repetition, but I don't want to get stuck. We're gonna do a whole video this week just on the fighting sticks. The second one of my favorites, which is really that last weapon with a string in the middle, or maybe a chain. It's the nunchuck, right? Striking with the nunchuck. One of you asked me this week or last week, how do you strike the bag without it coming back and biting your hand? And as soon as you said that, I've done it a million times, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And the key is follow through. Follow through. You don't want this to come back while you're practicing in the bag and smack yourself. It's when that happens, it's because you're hitting and you're stopping. And if you hit and you stop, it has to come here. If you hit and you go through, it's coming through the other end. So this is just like that last weapon, the Kali stick or the escrima, Arnis stick, in that you have that medium distance. And you're gonna see some people will hold the nunchuck here, some people hold it here, and you're gonna ask yourself why. This is all about speed. It's for doing fancy stuff, really cool things. Doesn't matter. Depends on your personal preference. If you think about a string easily cut, you go to block, they hit that string, they're coming right through it, right? They're coming right through. The chain might be able to stop that blade, and then you wrap it, snap it out of their hand, create distance between you and them, self-defense. Excuse me, I had to cough off camera. Now, back to where you hold it, speed. That's all about speed. This is for tricks, right? Middle, that's more training, and also when you're doing techniques like this, it's all about length, right? These are a little bit shorter pair because they're speed chucks. You go down, you go up, but basically, you're gonna hold it here for self-defense. This conversation is about how to defend yourself with a stick or how to fight with a stick. You're gonna hold this, yeah, but then you have two short sticks, which are also perfect. It's like, it's a little bit more than a yawara or a palm stick. It's more like the Korean jongbong or the dongbong, I can't remember now. The short stick. The police officers used to carry, some of them still do, a little string around their wrist, and it came out to about here, and they could whip it around here, whip it around there. A lot of Hapkido instructors and old Taekwondo instructors you might know, Koreans, they'll have used that short stick, and they'll teach that in the class. You're gonna hold this one here to create maximum force and power. And again, if it's coming back when you hit that bag and it's smacking your hand, it's because you're not following through. You're hitting it like this, like this. You shouldn't be fighting like that anyway. Always full speed, full power, full commitment. It's never gonna come back and smack you here. Once it goes through the target, it's gonna keep going and it's gonna wrap your body like you were doing a regular strike in the air. So remember that. Now, if I had a choice, and I wanna hear your opinion, because this is a conversation. It's not me just talking at you, which is what it is, unless you start to put your comments below in the comment section and share with others. This, to me, comes in second. We're talking Would I rather have to defend myself with a pair of collie sticks, escrima sticks, Arnis sticks, those fighting sticks, or 1 or 2 pairs of nunchucks? Because you can also have that second pair that's over there on the wall, you just didn't grab it for whatever reason. You can have 2. This is going to be more toward the end. It's really cool to look at. It's really fun. And, oh yeah, are you kidding? Absolutely. Just think about what kind of metal. Is it aluminum? Is it aircraft grade aluminum? That means it's extremely strong. It's been conditioned away. It's not going to bend. Is it regular aluminum? It's going to bend very easily. Is it, a corrugated pipe, or what kind of metal is it? Some metal is going to bend very easily. Some's going to be super heavy. Some's going to be really light and powerful. In fact, let me show you real quick. This is that machined aircraft grade aluminum. Now this does not bend as much. It will if I ran into something extremely hard like a baseball bat. He's coming over with a baseball bat. I have to block it like this. I'm still going to be able to effectively deflect it and then counter strike, but it's probably going to ding it and dent it a little bit, because no matter what, aluminum is a little bit softer, but they're these are fun. These come from combative.com with a K. I hope they're still open. COVID's been hitting a lot of businesses in our industry. A lot of small suppliers have started to close up a little bit. And I don't know if they're closing temporarily or permanently. Hopefully these guys are back making this stuff, because they make them in the United States here by hand. And so if you want a pair of these, and they have all kinds of cool weapons like this, metal weapons. So that's more effective than that wood. And it's not going to break, right? But it's metal. It's what you asked. Can you use metal pipe? Now, but yeah, the answer is yes. Anything that's a stick. That's what this whole series, all this week. That's all we're talking about this week. We're still going to do bow training. We're still going to do Joe training. We're still going to do cane, which is next. We're going to do all the things that we normally do. We're going to get our nunchucks in. We're going to get the Indian swinging clubs. But they're all sticks. That's why I love it, right? So let's talk about length. Now we have one of my favorites, the bow. I don't have any sai anymore. I have to order some sai. Sai and kama. I got to get my sai, my kama out. But yeah, those would qualify, right? One's got a hook. One's got 2 more prongs. One's like a pitchfork. Now, the bow staff, right? Or the longer martial arts stick, the long martial arts staff, salambam, jangbong in the Korean, the bong, the gun in Chinese, a spear, a quarter staff if you're all Renaissance fair, middle, old ages, whatever. But it's all the same. Robin Hood and his merry men, Little John's carrying a quarter staff. And man, those things are thick and heavy, and they come as a defense tool, extremely effective, right? And you have length. This one is far superior, because if this is the threat, now I have all the length of this staff. I can increase the length. I can get him completely out of the picture, right? I can hit him this far back. I can change hands. I can bring all the force and weight of my body forward into these strikes, change hand positions, spear, bring it down on top, bring it through here. There are a million things you can do with this, and it's extremely effective. And as far as weapons go, sticks for self-defense, how to defend yourself with sticks, this is one of the most effective, simple, and easiest for you to pick up and learn how to use. Now with the collie sticks, it's very pretty, it's very fancy, it's very fun. It's and they're very effective, but it's a mid-range. They're going to be a little bit closer. Again, with this, maybe it's that vicious animal. Now you've created distance between you and the vicious animal. Maybe it's a group of people, right? You have all these options, all these different directions, all these different strikes that you're going to learn with the bow. So one of my favorites, we're going to do that this week, and I want to talk about its little sister, the Joe, or little brother, however you want to think about it. Now this one, they normally come up to about, so if you're going to size a Joe, ideally, you want it to come up right to where your armpit starts, about that length, so that when you have your arm in this position, you have about this much left. From here, you have to very quickly, baseball bat, katana or bokken sword. It's extremely effective. It's a very good blocking weapon. It slides between your hands from one side to the other. You're in this position. All of a sudden you're in this position. Spear, blocking, striking. So versatile. My favorite, number one choice of all the weapons up to this point, how to defend yourself with a stick if you're walking around. And I like the length of the bow. That's superior for distance. However, walking down the street with that big of a stick, you really stand out. This one looks like a walking stick, which is exactly what it could be. So the Joe, all of a sudden, becomes an effective self-defense tool. You have distance between you and the threat. You can extend distance or increase distance. You can change your position. You can go any height. If you're inside, you have a short ceiling, you can do all your strikes here. You can bring in your strikes through the shoulders, blocking. You have so many things. High block, low block, twisting block, everything you can do with the bow and more because it's not, yeah, exactly. Good point, Bob. But that's what this is, right? This becomes, in this discussion today, right now, first choice. In Einars is the one who suggested this series. Great idea over on Patreon. Einar said, I like this, this, and this. And I said, those are all sticks. I like them too. Let's talk about how to defend yourself with a stick because it's such a basic weapon that you'll find anywhere. And today we're talking about all of the martial arts and martial arts related kinds of sticks. And this week, toward the end of the week, we're going to talk about what do you do when you don't have any of that? What can you find around you? How can you improvise a self-defense weapon, a self-defense tool? Excellent answer. All right, well, let's save this for last because this is going to be number one. I'm just going to tell you now because you can take it anywhere. It's got the hook. We're going to talk about this in just a second. But first, I want to talk about this because this is very popular and this keeps popping up in a lot of questions that you're asking me. What about that expandable baton, right? You carry it on your hip like you're some kind of police officer or law enforcement, and then it pops out. They're the only ones allowed to carry it. This is illegal. You can't carry this. It is a stick. It has more limitations than most of the other sticks that we've seen so far because it collapses and because it's seen. Yes, it's seen as an illegal weapon. You get caught with this, there's a charge coming. You can possibly be charged and you can say, I felt nervous. I needed a self-defense tool. And they say, but that wasn't it. That was a bad choice. And you're going to be in trouble, which is why the next one is absolutely my favorite. This too, this one is flimsy and cheap. And this is what's so hard about buying stuff on Amazon. And I'm not cutting on Amazon or anything because I love the stock. But the company has a lot of fake junk on there, a lot of drop ship garbage from China, Alibaba, AliExpress, and this is one of them. And they list this as a tire knocker, like it's for a truck driver, or it has this little point on the end so you can use it to pop open. Yeah, isn't that funny? That's hilarious, right, Roy? That's what's so silly about some of those rules. You still can't carry nunchucks, I think, in New York City. Maybe the whole state. California, too, I think. Maybe not. I might be wrong in California. But I know there's some states and some municipalities where nunchucks are not allowed. But you can have concealed carrier. You can have nope and no. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, which is silly to me, right? It's like on the airplane, I go through the TSA and they want to take away my little Swiss Army knife that has the tweezers I use to pull the splinters out when my kids get them walking on the boardwalk. That's why I've got it, right? And to open a box, the little knife's this big. And they say, well, you can't take that on. For a while there, they backed off of that, and then they're back to it again. And I'm thinking, but, there are 6 things I have right here in my hand, which are much more effective as a self-defense tool than this tiny little knife. What am I going to jump up there and, I mean, how stupid is that, right? Anyway, I digress. The idea of a little Swiss Army knife or a little pocket knife being something that they have to ban when they're allowing people to carry these, which is my favorite. This is number one. for this week, and we're going to do a video on each one of these except the expandable baton because I think it's just a garbage weapon for so many reasons. And I think I mentioned this recently. One of my friends who's a law enforcement officer said in this local municipality, none of the law enforcement guys in his department will even pull it out. They all have to carry it. None of them will pull it out because of the liability reasons. They don't want to be the next one on the thing. Yeah, exactly. But in those same states, they got an AR-15 or an AK-47 or whatever. All right, not all those states, but those states still have concealed carry. So this is a training cane. I have the link below if you want one, and I have some coming. I'm going to sell it at a discount later this week when I get them in and I figure out what the pricing is with shipping. I got to measure them and all that. But from here, you just walking, you get in this better position. That goes back to our self-defense principles. Better position, put the weapon between you and the threat. Number one was situational awareness. See what's happening around you. Now here's the threat. I have this stick. This is the collie stick from before. I have the Joe staff. That's that Joe, right? Where I can grab it and I can hit here or I can hit it. And then I even have more. I have this hook where I can reach in, stick it in his ear. Look at that. You can imagine how much that's going to hurt when you start to pull on it and go that way, or behind that mandibular joint, right? Or into that neck right there, into the pressure point. And you're pulling them, or maybe you're pulling them down while you, for self-defense, drive the elbow. But you have the hook, can also be, I like to think of it like a big chunky knuckle sticking out. It's like this knuckle right there. See, I have this one knuckle, and he sits a little bit bigger than the other. I don't know if you can see it. He's just a little bit bigger now, right? But that's the knuckle that's going to hit him first. Right here in the nose. We watched Master Gary Hernandez last week on one of his videos. If you follow Master Gary Hernandez, he has the self-defense canes. He showed you how to go from here to here very quickly and how to go in here like a hook. Boom, straight to the side, take him out. So it's so versatile, so many things you can do with this stick, defending yourself with a stick, and you're allowed to take it anywhere you go. Even though I love the Joe, and imagine it's a hiking stick, and you go to the airport, and you have your beautiful burled walnut, fancy schmancy hiking stick with a little 450 cord or whatever, I can't even remember now, paracord, all the military wannabes guys. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but you got all that paracord on there. And so that in case you get stuck out in the woods, you can take it off and you can make a snare and get yourself a rabbit, skin it with your teeth and have lunch. That's what I'm imagining would happen, right? But you got your hiking stick. And it's the perfect size because it's like a Joe. You can use it immediately to defend yourself. And all these different strikes, right? Yeah, Bob knows what I'm talking about. It's like when I would go to the shooting range. And I was preparing for some really cool combat shooting courses on steel. I wanted to get my right hand, my left hand, my strong arm. I had all these different routines that I was doing. But I would see these other guys. They'd show up and they were like 70, 80, 90 years old, guts out to here. And they're wearing the 511 pants and the combat cami, like Oakley boots. If you know, if you've ever been around Special Forces people, old school anyway. You know about the Oakley boots. They got their sunglasses on their forehead. And they... right? They got their big, chunky, military-style watch. And I would always say to them, that's awesome. You got great arsenal there. Because they'd have Tommy guns. They had all these old-style things, new stuff. They had like a full, it's true, you've seen it, a full arsenal. But the guys were so out of shape that when they ran out of rounds or they got a jam and the guys are closing distance in this close quarters combat, they don't know how to throw an elbow. They can't throw the headbutt. They can't drive the knee because they stopped moving their body. And I read this statistic last night. This is a warning because I know a lot of you are underemployed like I am, or you are retired. Yes, if you ever, that's a good example of a sharpened stick. So the point is, sorry, I had to pop that off real quick. With this cane, there's so much stuff you can do. The statistic I read was that men retire in the United States, they watch 50 hours of television a week. Crazy. And I'm not picking on them. And then they blame all of the decline in their body on age. It's not. It's the 50 hours of TV, and then they sleep the rest of the time, and then they eat bad food. Get up and move your body. Get yourself a cane. Start doing some assisted squats, some assisted long, deep knee bends. Get yourself the bands. Start getting your chest muscles going again. Get those biceps and triceps going with that band, and then practice striking and moving and defending yourself and staying confident and fit. That's all I've got for today. Tomorrow we're going deeper. We're going to pick one of the weapons. Leave in the comments what you want to work on first, and we'll start to do that. Or go over to Patreon, leave me a message there like Arnis did. Thanks, Arnis. And Beth, she sent me one last week. We did the bow. We're going to do a bow again early this week or later. But let me know what you want to work on next, and I'll see you guys on the next one.